Hi everyone, welcome to Apologue, the platform helping you challenge mediocrity one story at a time. My name is James Lau, and today I'm very happy to introduce Naitik. So there are 1.3 billion people in this world who are twice as likely to be unemployed just because they have disabilities. In order to challenge that, Naitik started nextbillion.org, which aims to help people with disabilities who has an interest in tech to have access to mentorship as well as employment opportunities. So very honored to have Naitik over here. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I actually met Naitik about a year ago at a house party, and it's been doing big things. And yeah, so I just want to start off with, tell us about your journey. How did you get started? How did you get to where you are today?
Okay, so I grew up in Pune. That's my hometown back in India. I started studying and learning design when I was in school in grade 7 or 8. And then once I finished grade 10, I didn't go to high school. I launched my own design studio with my brother. We worked with clients abroad. And then I decided to apply to design school, got through to Emily Carr in Vancouver, moved over 4 years ago. And through university, I've done a few internships, worked with Microsoft and Facebook. And then in my second year, I launched Next Billion after I met a few people in the space who had disabilities and had navigated challenges in getting into the industry.
And what made you want to start Next Billion? Is there like a one story where you're just like, wow, I need to do something for these guys?
Yeah, when I was in Emily Carr and at the end of my first year, I did an internship at Microsoft, and that's where I had a chance to meet Karthik, who then became a co-founder on Next Billion. And Karthik shared his story where he's born blind, and when he wanted to study at India's top tech university, he was denied a chance to even give entrance exams. But from there on, he found a mentor, he applied abroad, got to Stanford on a full scholarship, studied computer science and machine learning and AI, and he's now working at Microsoft full-time. So I met him after my first year at university, and that was the first time I actually got to hear from someone who's navigated those challenges, and we were talking about who else faces such challenges, and he told me it's not that like his story is not unique. There's a billion other people that are navigating similar challenges, and that's kind of what got me interested, where connecting that to my own personal story. I also I landed in Vancouver because I was rejected about 7 US visas on grounds of being a potential immigrant, and it didn't actually make sense to me, and I was like, okay, you're being told no way. I'd gotten into the top design school in California. I would have and studied there, and I applied, and they're like, no, we don't want you to go there. And it kind of made me think about how a lot of people aren't being given equal access to opportunities. And I was like, okay, let's start a side project, and we got together with a couple of other co-founders, and the 4 of us started Next Billion.
It's the reason why you didn't end up in the States? Just purely because of visa?
Yeah.
I mean, well, Emily Carr should be happy to have you.
Yeah, it was, I had applied to 6, I'd gotten through 5 universities in US, and the only other one was Emily Carr in Vancouver. And as soon as I didn't get the US student visa, I remember the college had told me, this is the first time we've ever had a student visa rejection, and we actually don't know how to help you. And so I said, okay, they told me don't apply to Canada unless you want some more rejections on your passport. But my family said, it's okay, just go for it. And then 2 weeks later, got my Canadian visa. And then a week later, I was in Vancouver. Yeah. I think things work out. When one door closes, there's another one that opens.
Who would you say has the biggest influence in your life? About how you are as a person, what your values are? Who would you say?
Yeah, I would say family. I think I've been very fortunate to have had a superwoman mom. 2 of my aunts have been in the tech industry. 1 of my uncles was in the tech industry. My brother also started development, and I was looking up to all of them and as I was in school, they were mentors in a way for me. So I think I was very fortunate to have that access early on, and not everyone has the same level of mentorship, or to get to that point even is a challenge for a lot of people. So yeah, I think my family's been the biggest influence, and my mom for sure. She's a superhuman, and I think I draw a lot of energy from her.
With a good family and with a good support system, it really pushed you to where you are today. But going on top of that, like, what was the best advice you've ever received? Like, what's this one advice that keeps cycling through your head? Because I know I had one.
Yeah, I think it was grade 10. My aunts, the two aunts that worked in the industry, there's a few times where I've always, because I didn't go to high school, and that's not something that's like common in India. Like, everyone does 11th and 12th grade, you apply to colleges and you kind of go through. But we had found this other option, which is like homeschooling, and they will send you books at home, and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to do it. And so my aunts would keep telling me, what's the worst that could happen if you tried? And that's kind of stuck with me, because when I didn't get like US visas to go there, and I was hesitant to even apply to Canada. And again, it was like, what's the worst that could happen? And I went for it, and I was like, yeah, there's really nothing to lose. And so that is stuck. That piece of advice is stuck through, because even when we started Next Billion, even the fact that I've finished university and I'm now working on it full time, those are all like leaps of faith, and it's like, okay, what's the worst that could happen? I'm just gonna learn.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's something I value as well, and it's the whole reason why we started Apologue and what we want to inspire people to do is take that leap of faith, because what's the worst that can happen, right? You either grow or you learn from it, right? So that's something I feel like a lot of people forget, and we should definitely instill it. Also, so where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, in terms of personal growth, in terms of career, and where do you see yourself?
I don't think I have an answer for that. I think I know what I want to do in the next year, and I'm like laser focused on making that happen. In the next 5 years, I don't know. Say there's a certain vision for where I would like Next Billion to be, and the number of people or students with disabilities that we want to support. All those are goals and milestones we would like to hit eventually, but that's more on the company side of things. Personally, I'm just like, at this point, do I enjoy the work that I'm doing, and am I okay with putting in 110% of my effort? And the answer is yes. I'm going to just stick with that.
And you seem like a very motivated person. So what motivates you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What inspires you to choose to challenge mediocrity?
To be able to work. So I've had a chance to dabble in a few different spaces. So when I was a designer, I worked with a lot of design agencies and companies. I really enjoyed working with teams. I enjoyed using technology when I was working with Facebook and Microsoft, and using that to impact millions and millions of people. And then I also had a chance to work on some projects with nonprofits or like social impact organizations, and use my skills for that. And I really enjoyed the social impact. And so when we started Next Billion, and I was thinking about why am I doing this and why am I putting so much time, it's a mix of social impact, technology, and helping people. And that combination, and I'm right in the middle of that right now, and I feel like that's what motivates me, that the fact that we're using technology in a space where there's not too many organizations out there that are supporting students with disabilities, and we're coming in to say, hey, we're going to use technology, and we want to help not 100, not 1,000, we want to help like 10,000, 100,000, a million students with disabilities. And so that's what motivates me to go out there.
Awesome. But do you have any advice for people who want to really take their passion and put it into something concrete? Because not a lot of people have that, and a lot of people end up just doing something that they don't love, and it just ends up killing their passion a little bit.
I think a step before that is like trying to figure out what that passion is, right? Like, what are you really passionate about? One thing that's been super helpful to kind of think about what your passion is and then doing things has been just look for in your communities, in where you stay. Geographically, it can be any scale or scope, but look at the problems that are nearest to the people that you talk with, live with, or work with, and what problems do you care about? Not everyone can care about 20 problems. Like, okay, I'm passionate about climate change, but I'm also passionate about technology, but I'm also passionate about like investing, and you can have 10 different things. But if you're always trying to move all those 10 things forward, that becomes a challenge. So pick one of those and go talk to like 20 people, 50 people who are working in that space and help them, support them. You have to do the work that's kind of required to get your foot in the door. And sometimes it'll work out and you'll keep moving forward in that space, but you'll also quickly realize if you don't like that specific field. If you decide to go into finance and then you realize you really love it, you love investing or the stock market, you can continue. But if you don't like it, you can move on to the next passion or the next interest that you have. So I would highly recommend just think about what are your interests. It can be things like biking, it can be things like nature, but you can tie different threads together. So if you like nature, you like biking, but you also like engineering, you can tie those together and you can go work with Mac or I don't know what other brands are there, but get some experience and really get started.
One last question. What does happiness mean to you? What does success mean to you? I say you're 50 years old, right? Lying there on the beach with your family. What do you want to look back on and be like, this is it, I'm happy? Or do you think that's an ongoing process?
That's such a deep question. What does success mean to me? I think if I've been able to impact social problems, one or more, on a large scale, and that's helping millions or billions of people, opening doors, then I would feel fulfilled, I guess. And happiness, what does happiness mean to me? Just being able to do work that you believe in and that you know is helping others is, for me, that's kind of what happiness means.
That's awesome. That's very wholesome too, I feel. Like it really fills up your soul, and knowing that you're helping other people as well. Because we're very blessed, being here in Vancouver, being able to go to university, and not a lot of people have that opportunity. Not just jobs, right? It's just going to school. Like sometimes we forget how blessed we are. And it's awesome that you're trying to help people have the same opportunities.
Right. But I also want to iterate that it's not only the helping people. You can also, like, Next Billion is a social enterprise. So we are a business that has a social mission. And so you can do good, you can help and support a lot of communities while building a really strong business. And so that's, I just wanted to add that, because it doesn't have to be that you sacrifice everything else and go to social impact. You can bring everything together and still have social impact.
For sure. All right, so we've come to the end of the interview. Once again, thank you so much, Naitik, for being here and for sharing your story on how you choose to, challenge mediocrity and how you choose to help people. But before we finish, I just want to open the floor. Any advice you want to give to people who wants to dream bigger, who sees themselves in you, or who wants to do bigger things, right? Any advice for people? Because Apologue is all about helping people challenge mediocrity to dream bigger. So, is there any advice?
It's good to dream, but also look at the smallest next step that you can take and go do it. And don't think, just do. Go out there and do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next one. My name is James Lau. Welcome to Apologue. Make sure you join our community. Make sure you look at our content. Make sure you get inspired, and make sure you take action. Thank you once again. This is Naitik, and we'll see you in the next one.